This is a summary of Dr. Robert Lustig, How Sugar and Processed Foods Impact Your Health, where we break down the key insights, ideas, and takeaways from this content, giving you the gist so you can decide if you want the rest. In this episode of the Hubermanlab podcast, Dr. Andrew Huberman speaks with Dr. Robert Lustig, a pediatric neuroendocrinologist and leading expert on metabolic health, obesity, and the harmful effects of sugar and processed foods. Dr. Lustig explains how excessive sugar consumption, particularly fructose, contributes to chronic diseases such as obesity, type 2 diabetes, fatty liver disease, and cognitive decline. He also debunks common nutrition myths, exposes the dangers of processed foods, and provides practical solutions for improving metabolic health. This episode serves as a deep dive into the science of sugar metabolism, insulin resistance, and how modern diets are driving widespread health issues. The discussion explores how sugar, especially fructose, disrupts metabolism and increases disease risk, why processed foods are engineered to be addictive, and how food companies manipulate ingredients, the difference between glucose and fructose, and why fructose is more harmful, how sugar contributes to obesity, diabetes, and fatty liver disease, why calorie counting is flawed, and why food quality matters more than quantity, how ultra-processed foods hijack brain chemistry, making overeating inevitable, the role of fiber in protecting against sugar's negative effects, how to transition away from processed foods and improve metabolic health, how sugar affects metabolism and drives disease. Dr. Lustig explains that not all calories are created equal, and sugar, particularly fructose, causes unique metabolic damage that goes beyond simple calorie intake. The two main types of sugar: 1. Glucose, used for energy production by every cell in the body. 2. Fructose, found in fruit, table sugar, sucrose, and high fructose corn syrup, HFCS. Unlike glucose, fructose is primarily processed in the liver, where it contributes to fat accumulation, insulin resistance, and inflammation. Why fructose is more harmful than glucose. Fructose is metabolized like alcohol, leading to fatty liver disease, increased triglycerides, and metabolic dysfunction. Fructose does not stimulate insulin or leptin, which means it doesn't trigger satiety, leading to overeating. Excess fructose leads to insulin resistance, a primary driver of obesity, diabetes, and heart disease. Key takeaway: fructose, particularly in processed foods, is a major driver of metabolic disease, while glucose, in moderation, is used efficiently by the body. The problem with processed foods: why they are addictive. Dr. Lustig highlights that modern processed foods are engineered to be hyperpalatable and addictive, leading to overconsumption and poor metabolic health. How processed foods hijack the brain and metabolism. Excessive sugar stimulates dopamine, reinforcing addictive eating behaviors. Processed foods lack fiber, leading to faster absorption of sugars and blood sugar spikes. Added sugars, unhealthy fats, and synthetic ingredients disrupt gut health, increasing inflammation and cravings. Artificial sweeteners may worsen metabolic health, as they trick the brain into craving more sugar. Food industry tactics that promote overeating. Sugar is hidden under different names, e.g. maltose, dextrose, HFCS, to make products seem healthier. Low-fat foods often contain extra sugar to compensate for lost flavor. Highly processed foods are designed to override natural satiety signals, making it hard to stop eating. Key takeaway: processed foods are designed to be addictive and disrupt the body's natural hunger and metabolism controls. Avoiding them is key to long-term health. How sugar contributes to obesity, diabetes, and fatty liver disease. Dr. Lustig explains that the obesity epidemic is not simply a matter of eating too much and moving too little. Instead, metabolic dysfunction, largely driven by sugar and processed foods, is at the root of the problem. How excess sugar causes fat storage and disease. Fructose overloads the liver, leading to fat accumulation and fatty liver disease. Chronically high insulin levels promote fat storage, especially around the abdomen. Insulin resistance develops, increasing the risk of type 2 diabetes and metabolic syndrome. Inflammation and oxidative stress damage blood vessels, leading to heart disease and cognitive decline. Why calories alone don't explain obesity. 100 calories from soda is metabolized differently than 100 calories from nuts or vegetables. Fructose drives fat storage and insulin resistance, while fiber-rich foods improve metabolism. Focusing on food quality, rather than just calorie counting, is essential for metabolic health. Key takeaway: obesity and metabolic disease are driven more by food quality than calorie quantity. Sugar and processed foods promote fat storage and chronic disease. How to reduce sugar intake and improve metabolic health. Dr. Lustig outlines practical strategies for cutting sugar, reducing processed foods, and restoring metabolic function. 1. Cut added sugars and high fructose foods. Avoid sugary drinks, soda, fruit juices, sports drinks, the leading source of hidden sugar. Reduce processed foods with added sugars, including cereals, granola bars, and flavored yogurts. Opt for whole fruits instead of fruit juices, which strip away fiber. 2. Increase fiber intake. Fiber slows sugar absorption and improves gut health. Best sources: vegetables, legumes, whole grains, and nuts. Aim for at least 25 to 30 grams of fiber daily. 3. Prioritize protein and healthy fats. Protein and fat promote satiety and stabilize blood sugar. Best sources: grass-fed meats, eggs, fish, nuts, avocados, olive oil. 4. Improve insulin sensitivity. Engage in regular strength training and cardiovascular exercise. Practice intermittent fasting or time-restricted eating to lower insulin levels. Prioritize sleep and stress management to prevent insulin spikes. Key takeaway: reducing sugar, increasing fiber, and prioritizing whole foods can restore metabolic health and prevent chronic disease. Final takeaways: how to protect against sugar's negative effects. Fructose is more harmful than glucose. Excess intake leads to liver fat accumulation and metabolic dysfunction. Processed foods are engineered to be addictive. Removing them improves metabolic function and hunger regulation. Obesity and metabolic disease are driven more by food quality than total calorie intake. A high-fiber whole food diet supports metabolic health and prevents insulin resistance. Strength training, fasting, and sleep optimization enhance insulin sensitivity and longevity. Dr. Lustig concludes that focusing on real, whole foods while eliminating processed sugar and refined carbohydrates is the most effective strategy for long-term health and disease prevention. That's a wrap on Dr. Robert Lustig, How Sugar and Processed Foods Impact Your Health. If you found this summary valuable, make sure to follow, subscribe, and come back for more in-depth breakdowns of content.